Hi, I'm Mark Ryan. In this video, I'll describe my experience getting two Google Cloud certifications, Associate Cloud Engineer and Professional Machine Learning Engineer. I'll talk about what's on each exam and how I prepared for them. I am a Google employee, but the opinions I express in this video are my own. Here's my summary of the key topics covered in the Associate Cloud Engineer, or ACE certification. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list, but it includes most of the topics that I needed to study to prepare for the exam. I've highlighted in green the topics that I found particularly deep or challenging. Now, for example, I found the whole networking area a challenge, particularly virtual private clouds and load balancers. Compute Engine is a huge topic that ranges from defining a single cookie cutter instance to defining an automatically scaling cluster with customized storage options. So there's a lot to learn there. Similarly, GKE is a very big topic. And even though ACE certification just kind of scrapes the surface of Kubernetes, there's still a lot to cover to get the basics. We'll return to these topics again a little bit later in the video, but for now, I'll review how I prepared for the ACE exam. To prepare for the ACE exam, I followed the guidance on the official Google site for the certification. I'll link to this site in the description for this video. Now, there were 6 courses recommended on the site, each of which included hands-on exercises. In addition to the hands-on exercises from the courses, I did a set of quests, which are more open-ended exercises that tied together things I had learned on the courses. In the final 2 weeks before the exam, I worked through practice exams several times. I did the practice exam questions from the Google ACE site and also a Udemy course with a set of practice exams. I repeated these exams again and again until I got over 85% on all of them. And for every question I got wrong, I reviewed the answer explanations to ensure I understood what I got wrong and how to direct studying to correct the problem. On the exam day itself, I spent 2 hours completing 60 questions. Because I did this exam back in January of 2022, it had to be done remotely. And I got the results pretty well immediately after I submitted the exam, and formal confirmation from Google in 4 days, and I got the certificate you see at the bottom of the screen there. So now that I've talked about my experience with ACE certification, I'm going to talk about the Professional Machine Learning Engineer certification. And here you see the summary of the key topics that covered in this certification from my perspective. Again, this isn't an exhaustive list, but it includes most of the topics that I needed to study to prepare for the exam. Again, I've highlighted in green the topics that I found particularly deep or challenging. Now, for example, it took me a while to understand really clearly the high-level options, from pre-canned APIs like Vision AI, through AutoML, and to custom training. Pipelines are a huge topic, and getting my head around the data pipeline choices, and then the choices for overall ML pipelines, Kubeflow, and TFX, that really took some time. So a large proportion of my study time was understanding the whole concept of pipelines. And this certification is well rooted in Google Cloud ML solutions, but it also covers some general ML concepts. And of these, the most challenging for me was relating loss and accuracy, behavior, and training to particular hyperparameter settings and dataset characteristics. Overall, I was surprised by how much I learned doing this certification. Now, I thought I had a pretty decent background in ML, and I've been using Vertex AI regularly over the last year. The certification preparation really exposed some gaps in my background, and it forced me to improve my understanding of some topics, such as dealing with imbalanced datasets that I thought I knew well, but actually required further study. Now, here's the list of topics from the ACE exam again. Now, this time I've highlighted the topics that were essential background for the Professional ML Engineer certification. I wanted to share this because I've heard some people ask whether ACE certification is a prerequisite for ML Engineer certification. For me, it was, and the topics highlighted with the red boxes here show those things that I really needed from the ACE certification. And without the background I got from ACE, particularly for those highlighted topics here, I wouldn't have been able to pass the ML Engineer certification exam. However, I could see that somebody who has been using Google Cloud for some time would be able to tackle the Professional ML Engineer certification without needing to do ACE first necessarily. But I think as a best practice, doing ACE first prior to doing the ML Engineer certification really makes sense for most people. To prepare for the ML exam, I followed the guidance on the official Google site for this certification, and I'll include a link to that site in the description for this video. Basic part of the preparation was a fairly large set of courses. There were 7, each of which included hands-on exercises that I did completely. Those are the ones listed here. There were 2 courses I completed partially, the ML Ops and ML Pipelines courses. Now, as the date I booked for the exam was approaching, I ended up not doing 3 courses focused on particular applications. That is the courses for Vision, NLP, and Recommender systems, because I had a decent background in each of these areas. Now, ideally, if I had had more time, I would have done these courses as well, and I may end up going back and doing them. In the final 2 weeks before the exam, I worked through the practice exam several times, the same way that I did for the ACE preparation. I did the practice questions from the Google site exam, as well as a Udemy course that had a set of practice exams. I repeated these practice exams again and again until I got most of the questions correct. And for every question I got wrong, I looked at the explanation for the answers to ensure I understood what I got wrong and how to direct my studying to correct the problem. Now, as I said before, when I took the ACE exam back in January 2022, in-person exams weren't available. Now that they are available, I took advantage of the opportunity to write the exam at my local exam center. This worked out very well, and I'd recommend using in-person exams over remote for anybody who can do so. I wrote the exam on December 15th, 2022, and got the preliminary results right away, which was a pass. It wasn't a slam dunk. It was a difficult exam, and I wasn't sure when I pressed that submit button that I passed, but I did get preliminary pass, and I hope to get the formal confirmation from Google in the coming week. And that's the story of how I got 2 Google Cloud certifications, Associate Cloud Engineer and Professional Machine Learning Engineer. I learned a great deal doing these certifications. I've been using what I learned in ACE every single day since I took the exam back in January, and I look forward to applying what I learned in the ML certification throughout 2023 and beyond. Thanks for watching, and please leave a comment if you have any questions.